Should we get started or shall we wait?
As long as Cody's on, I think we should get started.
Yeah, it's fine.
Because he has a time constraint today, Cody, so we want to.
Okay, well, let's get on with it then. So we'll call the meeting to order at 8:31.
10:31, yeah.
Excuse me, 10:31. So we'll open the meeting for February 26th. The WeGo Police Commission, call the meeting to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, and we will have a moment of silence, for recognize the fallen police officers and EMS personnel. Okay, thank you. Okay, so there was no executive session, so we can move on to approval of the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and make that motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to.
Cody is texting, he wanted to know if we could hear him.
I cannot.
No. Let's give this a minute, see if we can get him on.
Okay,
Try to get on Teams, please give my group my apologies. Can you hear me? Okay. Is he unmuted? Here we go. I can hear you all. Okay. So can he approve, Derek, could he approve minutes by texting?
Via text, yeah, it's
Okay.
fine.
all
Here,
right,
is
so
he
I will
unmuted?
make a motion then to approve the minutes, the January minutes of the WeGo Police Commission. Do we have a second?
Here we go, let's see what happens. I just told him he can approve. So Jody can hear
Jody can,
us.
so it's us then.
So it's us.
Hey,
Oh.
you're on speaker. Do you just want to do it this way?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and second the motion.
All right, thank
Approval
you.
of minutes.
All right, any comments, questions, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Chairman's report, Cody, do you have a report?
Only report is to just congratulate the department on a top 5 rating for safest townships in Pennsylvania. Great work.
Great, I will second that one. Vice Chair's report, there is no report from the Vice Chair. So we'll move on to Chief David Leahy.
So as far as compliments go, I'll present at next Police Commission meeting as more come in. Like Cody just said, I'm pleased to announce that a recent study completed in January of this year by SafeWise Safety and Home Security Research Group ranked Westtown and East Goshen Townships as the 3rd safest community to live in the state. These rankings are based on reported FBI crime data and violent crime and property rates per 1,000 residents. We were the only Chester County Police Department ranked in the top 10, which is pretty impressive. This designation is attributed to the dedicated officers in our department who work diligently every day to keep our community safe. In the past few weeks, 2 members of our police department have retired. Sergeant Steve Wassel, after 34 years of dedicated service to the department, and Officer Gary Fry, after 28 years of dedicated service. We thank them both for their service and wish them all the best in the next chapter of their lives. Earlier this month, a promotional ceremony was held for Lieutenant Reniger, Sergeant Weaverling, and Sergeant Benningfield. The ceremony was extremely well attended, and I'd like to thank all those who took the time out of their evening to help us celebrate these well-deserved promotions. The department's full-time officer selection process continues. A written exam and physical agility test is scheduled for March 6th, a week from tomorrow. After that test is complete, applicants who will move forward in the process will participate in the World Board interview process. And that's all I have for the report.
Okay. Statistics report?
So for January, the department handled 1,941 total incidents. 890 of those were in Westtown, and 1,035 were in East Goshen. Last month, Cody asked for the stats from the last 3 years. So in January of 25, the department handled 2,026 incidents. In 24, 2,207 incidents. In 23, 1,551 incidents. And then the breakdown for each of those townships is in the police commission packet on the left-hand side here. If you scroll up, I can read them out loud, but they are there. Under Westtown, you can see the years, each year's prior incidents. The breakdown of all the calls can be viewed on the PC packet and on our Crime Watch page. In January, we posted on our Facebook page some of the statistical analysis for the department in 2025. We'll be continuing this initiative on our social media platforms going forward into 2026, and we'll be posting arrests, traffic accident stats, community events, and other statistics on a monthly basis. So this is just a way to be more transparent with our community members and let them know what our officers are doing on a daily basis. As far as trends go, we continue, as we do every month, to see fraud reports come in. We're going to continue into 2026 our fraud education. We're coming up with some initiatives going forward to educate our community members, or especially our older community members, on fraud scams. And then recently we were, in Westtown, we investigated, our criminal investigations division reported the theft of copper wire from a telephone pole. It was earlier this month. Loss is approximately $52,000. Without getting into details, because it's an ongoing investigation, we are working with other departments in the region in that investigation. That's all I have for the statistical report.
Okay, great. Move on to the township reports. Start with East Goshen. Anything?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have two quick things. One, we're still gearing up and going forward with the planning for our, it's kind of a community day / 250th America anniversary, event at our park this year. So we'll continue to coordinate with police on that event because it's a month earlier, because it's May 30th this year, and it's going to be larger than usual because we're doing it in conjunction with West Goshen. So that will come up and sneak up on us quicker than usual. Yep. The only other thing I have is we're actually getting inquiries a little earlier this year for solicitation permits, which I continue to stand by. I'm not a huge fan of the solicitation permit program because I don't think it carries a lot of weight. But anyway, I'll continue to contact with you, Dave, and let you know how that's going, how the complaints are going. Because again, it seems to be already we're having some inquiries for the spring, gear up for the spring. So other than that, I think that's it.
All right, great.
For Westtown, a couple of things. We approved the rezoning of the property at 926-202, the 2-acre property where the Westtown Inn is, from our AC, agricultural cluster, to commercial, with the expectation that we will be auctioning that off at some point whenever PennDOT finishes its long-awaited work to fix the corner, repave the road, etc. So that's probably will not be until the summer, but
just shut the door so we can hear you tell there's a delivery. That's all.
And let me see, there was this is rather preliminary, but we're getting a lot of inquiries from some group. I think they call themselves the Friends of the Turk's Head Trail, which is made up of a lot of people who are pushing pushing all of the townships from West Goshen, I guess Westchester, West Goshen, Westtown, Thornbury, all the way down to Cheney, to approve a plan to put in a trail along the railroad tracks. This is about the 15th time some project has been recommended for that, but I think that we'll see if this goes anywhere. We're not incredibly in favor of it because there are some private properties along there and there's other concerns. But I know the police department has had its share of issues with trails, particularly some of the more rural ones.
Right.
So I just really wanted to give you a heads up that this may or may not be coming.
Okay, great.
Okay. And I think that's about it for Westtown. So then we will review of approved bills. I think we have already approved those. Is there anything need for further discussion?
No.
Okay, then I will make a motion to approve the January 7th and January 20th bills submitted. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Any questions, additions, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Old business. I'm not aware of any old business. Is there any?
No, nothing on old business this month.
Okay. Moving on to new business, traffic safety unit. I gather the scales issue is coming up again. It's just been multiple or long-going thing.
Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's an issue, I just think it's something that should be brought back up again because of the money that we're spending on it on a quarterly basis. We still spend $1,500 a quarter renting 5 sets of scales from East Whiteland Police Department. I'm not exactly sure of the start date on that, but it was probably 15 years ago that
It's a long
we started. So just, if you do the math there, I think it's about $90,000 over the course of 15 years we spent, where the scales cost, if we were to buy them, from a report that was provided from Sergeant Lewis about a year and a half ago, a set of 4, which is what we would need to purchase, would be $43,000. We actually have 1 set already. We have 5 sets, but we have 1 that we purchased years ago at the surplus through the state. But you need the 5 sets total to do the weighing of the commercial vehicles properly.
What's the lifespan on those?
So those are 30 years.
Okay.
Speaking with Sergeant Lewis, those are mechanical, they're not digital.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the way we've stored them over the last almost, not even, well, less than 15, but since we got the truck that they're currently in, they're stored in a manner that's going to keep their lifespan longer.
Okay.
Flat, so they're laid flat in the back of the truck because there's oil inside those scales that, if you were to turn them upside down, the oil would sink. So the lifespan is long on them. My suggestion would be looking forward going into 2026. Obviously, it's not an expense that we would do right now because $43,000 is a lot of money. But I think it would be something that if we wanted to purchase brand new, the set of scales that Sergeant Lewis recommends, we look at that going into the budget for 2027, I'm sorry. If not that option, I think I could reach out to East Whiteland to see what they would, go for as far as us purchasing the scales from them directly. It would probably be half of that.
Yeah, I mean, it is my personal opinion, but I think if you're going to purchase it, I think you do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And you get ones that I think would last as long as possible versus the used ones. Obviously it would be cheaper to do it the other way, but longevity-wise, it couldn't work.
I agree, Derek. I just wanted to.
Yeah, there's different options for the board members. I get it.
Yep. But again, that purchasing them, I realize that's something that we'd have to look at going into the budget season into 2027. But just at least wanted to put that on the police commission's radar because fiscally, I don't think it's responsible to just keep paying the rental fee when we could have bought 2 sets over the course of 15 years or so.
Well, I don't want to throw a monkey wrench into this, but going back to before 15 years, when I was on the police commission before, we opted not to get scales because we were depending on the state police and we were getting free revenue basically and did not have to have scales or a pickup truck or a special team to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering if we should have a little cost benefit analysis to see if that's a business we should be in. I know that was brought up in the staffing study that is that something that we should be doing.
Yeah, and I again, speaking with Sergeant Lewis a couple of days ago about this, I don't have the actual cost analysis from the past years as far as what we brought in from the commercial vehicle fines and the weighing of fines,
Right.
but it is substantial. For our department to do it the way we do it, we would bring in more revenue. Not that we're out to make revenue, but we would than the state police coming down here, because they really don't have the capability or manpower to come down and do that enforcement on a consistent basis. Like I said, Sergeant Lewis gave an example the other day where, it probably once or twice a year, or once or twice every 2 years, 3 years, you get some big violators. And he referenced a fine a couple of years ago that came in and was about $44,000 in total fines.
Which would pay for the scales
Right,
in one
so-
shot.
And you also have to remember, Tom, that the money that does come in from the scales goes directly to the township, not to the police department.
Okay,
And correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the times the scales are done in Westtown Township
They are, yep.
rather than East Goshen. So that was an issue that was brought up before, whether the money should be going to each township or to the police department to benefit both the
to the
police.
townships, of course.
Right. Right, so that's just something to think about too.
But that's not to say I can't get that information.
Yeah.
For, as far
I'm
as-
just bringing that up because I know this has always been an issue, so.
Right,
Right.
so the cost study that you're discussing would have to be, the two townships would have to give me what they've been collecting over the years for us to do a cost study for you, just so you know.
Okay.
Happy to do it.
All right, but right now, I mean, beside the scales and the specialized pickup truck, and how much time does the traffic safety unit get tied up doing these things?
So I would probably say throughout the month, they dedicate a few days of their time just on truck enforcement now with the way they're structured.
Right,
It was more last year before they were assisting in supplementing patrol, but they're still doing consistent truck
Right.
enforcement.
right,
And it's not just the weight of the scales, like when they're weighing these commercial motor vehicles, they're also able to find other violations such as registration
right,
violations, which then incur high fines if you're overweight and your registration is out.
right.
So they are still doing it on a consistent
Okay.
basis for the time that
Sure.
they are doing traffic enforcement.
Since trucks are going up and down 202 24 hours a day, what is the probability of catching a violator when you have kind of episodic patrol for this work? I mean, how do you make sure that you're going to really catch the perpetrators when your team is out there looking for them?
So commercial motor vehicle enforcement has a different set of standards as far, if you're a certified commercial motor vehicle inspector, you don't need probable cause as a normal police officer would to stop these trucks.
Right.
So our traffic safety unit is typically, as you've seen, is out on 202.
Okay,
And when they see a truck that they believe is overweight, they just wave them in. So the possibility of encountering these trucks that are in violation of
right,
weight or any other
sure.
commercial vehicle violations is pretty common.
So any patrol car can pull the guys over and then they would call in for the, with the
If a patrol officer would have to have probable cause
Right.
to stop a commercial motor vehicle for an inspection, whereas our certified commercial motor vehicle inspectors don't need that probable cause.
Okay. All right. All right, well, that's helpful. So I don't know, is there how are we going to move this question forward? Do we,
I brought it up based on more for discussion here to bring it back onto the
Okay.
table. Again, if
It'll
it's
be brought up
Probably.
during budget
I
time.
was gonna say, it's
It'll
probably.
be a request from the chief of police during budget time.
okay,
In the meantime, I guess there's no reason why we can't call East Whiteland and ask them if we could buy them.
we could see what they say, just to have the option.
But then they're used and they've probably 30 years, they're probably gonna be up in about 5.
I don't think I'm too interested in trying to buy old scales for the
Yeah.
record. I'd rather just do it right and get new ones.
Okay.
They should really give us them for free with the amount of money we've spent
Yeah,
on them. So
I
I
agree.
don't know if I want to give them more money, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
All right, well, at the right time, we'll
Right.
put it on the budget.
We can give them VIP parking tickets for East Goshen Day this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, can I make a suggestion though about maybe bringing it up again? Can we see maybe when our third quarter payment is due for the scale? We pay them quarterly, don't we, Kathy?
Yeah.
Can we maybe see where we're at in the budget halfway through the year and maybe just bring it up for discussion again to see where we're at?
Sure, in June.
Doesn't mean we have to buy them then, but just to see where we're at.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a lag time for actually getting delivery of the scales, though, right? And if you get them now, I'm sure they're not sitting in a warehouse somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but I'd have to defer to
Yeah.
Sergeant Lewis on that.
Okay. All right, great. Then we'll move on to special detail rates.
So this is another topic for discussion. So our special detail rates have not been increased since 2013. So any entity that is requesting the police department, provide a special detail outside of the scope of our normal duties.
Right.
Currently, we charge $120 an hour if an officer has a vehicle, and then $100 if the officer does not need a vehicle. With obviously our officers' payroll rates increasing, we're pretty much at the point where many of our officers' rates we're breaking even with that rate that we're charging for special details. Obviously, we're not in the business again to make money, but we're also not in the business to lose money. So my suggestion would be, in discussing it with Kathy, would be to raise that rate as flat, just a flat $135 an hour special detail rate. We'd want to obviously give some notice to the consistent entities that we provide special details to.
Sorry, what's the rate now?
120 with a car and 100 without.
Is this mainly the school district for like football games or?
So the school district for traffic details for football games, for our churches, we provide four different church details.
Okay.
So again, these are our partners in our community, so I wouldn't be fair, in my opinion, just to spring it on. I would want to give them some notice.
We were thinking maybe starting it in September, if you do a resolution, because that's the start of the new school year.
Right,
And that would only be fair for the churches too, to prepare ahead
right.
for the different rate.
And obviously the rates now, we're at a point where we're just under breaking even, so we're not losing anything right
But
now.
that's based on the regular salary rate.
Yeah.
It's not an overtime
It is
rate.
overtime.
It's the officers get the overtime rate. They
Yeah,
get the time and a half.
right. So is that time and a half included in that $135 then?
Yes.
Right,
And
okay.
then the difference obviously goes to the police
Right.
department.
Okay. Very good. So we'll
So
bring
we
that
would
up.
need to do a resolution at a meeting at some point. Sorry, Cody, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay,
No, I was just going to say, do different departments charge different entities a different amount of money? So if it's a nonprofit and a church, granted the school board's probably raised taxes 10 times since we've done this. I don't think tithing's increased 10 times. So I don't know what that looks like from other departments as it pertains to charging different entities different costs or what other places do.
So specifically, I don't know the answer to that, Cody. I do know what other departments charge as far as an hourly rate, but I'm not certain on this, but I'm thinking that they don't make a difference between the two. But for example, West Goshen Police Department last year was charging $145 an hour approximately. West Whiteland Police Department last year was charging pretty much what we charge, $125 an hour. Westchester Borough was charging $180 an hour, with a minimum of three hours for a detail. So pretty much in the range. Westchester's a little higher, obviously. Than
I don't think anybody does rate differentials because it's based on the cost of the officers and not really the entity and what they can pay. I'm not to say it's not done anywhere, but I don't think it's done anywhere in Chester County.
Yeah.
okay. All right, so we'll bring that resolution up at the appropriate time.
Right, so you would just have to decide if the 135 is something you agree to, then I can draw up the resolution and it can be at the March meeting with a start date of, we'll say August, because I think school starts in August.
Right,
We'll say August
Okay.
1st. In the meantime, we'd like to have a letter written, signed by the commission, to go to all these third-party vendors, so they're well aware ahead of
Sure.
time.
Okay,
Last time we sent out emails and not all of them saw them. And they were quite surprised when they saw the rate changed
okay,
back in 2013. But
okay.
we can work on it for March. Is 135 something that sounds reasonable to everyone?
It does to me.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Okay,
So that'll be a formal motion for the next meeting.
right, it'll be resolution, it'll be 2026-02, because we're gonna have a shredding resolution next month
Okay,
at 2026-01, so.
good. That brings us to,
Kathy, is there a Rebecca in the lobby? I think that's Barbara. I don't know if Barbara's waiting in the waiting room.
Okay,
I'm
Kira,
sorry for the Zoom lobby.
yeah, oh, in the lobby, okay.
Zoom lobby.
Oh,
No, Tom, I think
He meant the Zoom lobby, sorry.
Oh, I was, yeah.
Did you see it?
I don't see anybody.
Yeah, Jody, Kira, Cody, and Dave, yeah. No,
Okay, that's fine. She just texted me. Thanks.
I would just text her to bag it at this point, Cody. We're kind of almost done.
so now on to officers' comments. Do we have any officers' comments?
Nothing, Lieutenant?
Doing a great job.
Great job. All right, then we will move on to overtime report, 3 months.
So for January specifically, the overtime total was 297 and a half total overtime hours. Obviously, that's significantly lower than was in December of 2025. There were 14 and a half hours of operations overtime, 72 hours of comp overtime, 28 hours of personal overtime, 167 hours of sick overtime. I just want to note there that 141 of those hours came from 3 specific officers without getting into, obviously, reasons in this meeting because of personnel reasons, but reasons that the commission is aware of already. If not for those 3 officers, there would have only been 26 hours of sick overtime in January. There were 12 hours of training overtime and 4 hours of vacation overtime. Overtime hours in January that were supplemented by the traffic safety unit were 139 hours. So they either stepped in and took over a patrol shift when an officer was needed for backfilling, or they were scheduled to work patrol if an officer was scheduled off or in training.
Right.
So that 139 hours would equate to $13,900 in overtime savings that this time last year we would have incurred. Overtime hours not covered due to the new 3 officer minimum staffing level on night shift were 78. So it was approximately $7,800 that was saved in January that would have been paid out if the minimum staffing wasn't changed. So if you carry that through the course of the year at $7,800, it's over the course of the year, it's about a $93,000 savings just from the staffing reduction there. Total for January, that savings was approximately $21,700.
Good.
And as far as overtime, myself and Lieutenant Reniger and Lieutenant Stafford are still working on a variety of ways to decrease the overtime and sick time usage when possible.
Okay, thank you.
That will just naturally go down once we fill those spots. So I'm not really too concerned right now with
That as well,
overtime.
yep. That as well, yep.
Okay, then a month-end report.
right, the month-end report for January is, I'll keep it simple, we're about 4.73% over budget, which is not unusual in the beginning of the year with the expenses, but in addition, with the 2 full-timers retiring in February, they started to sell off their days in January, so that's quite a bit, but we should be fine with that. I had included some of that when I did the budget for 26, knowing at least that 1 was retiring.
Right.
So we're good.
All right, thank you. Then we have public comment. seem to have any public to comment, but then I guess we will adjourn the meeting. I'll move to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. That's it.
Aye, thanks Tom for running it.
You bet.
Have a good trip, Cody.
Enjoy, Cody, take care.
Yep.